It's my extreme pleasure to have been asked to introduce our closing keynote, Ewdwidge Danticat. And so I wanted to start off by just acknowledging how often people in our lives have impacted our practice. For me, at this winter meeting, I got to meet many of those folks that have impacted my practice. And then some that I have not seen in a long time that I know impacted my practice in profound ways. So it's not often, we don't often get an opportunity to introduce someone who has impacted your practice as a keynote speaker at the winter meeting. And that's my extreme privilege this morning. About 20 years ago, I got a chance to co-author a teacher resource guide for Florida International University. It was titled Teaching Latin America and the Caribbean from a Global Perspective. So I was working with a couple of colleagues and I got a chance to write a lesson that was part of that publication. We called it El Norte, going north. The lesson focused on the push factors that enable people to make decisions to literally put their lives at risk in order to leave very difficult conditions. And during that time, there was a really large influx of immigrants, both from Cuba, and you saw the pictures at the opening, and from Haiti. And I wanted to write that lesson to help students understand the Haitian reality and the Haitian conditions for taking that journey, right? Which was as I said, 7 times longer than the journey that across the straits to come from Cuba. I wanted them to also understand that the legacy that 2 dictatorships, or one dictatorship, one dynasty in a way, the dynasty of the Duvaliers. First the father Francois, and later Jean-Claude, who was known as Baby Doc. So somebody told me, I was looking for resources, I was looking for ideas, and someone told me about this young Haitian American author that had just written a book called Crick Crack. And I got the book and I read it and I found just this perfect way to find a selection of text that spoke to the reality of people making that journey, which to me really was a new 20th century version of the Middle Passage. Okay? And in that, one of the chapters in the book, one of the early chapters called Children of the Sea, there is a description of boat people who are making that journey in the middle of the night. So imagine yourself in one of the crafts that I showed you at the opening of this session. It's the opening of the meeting. Imagine yourself in a crowded, rickety boat, really crowded to the max, in the middle of the night. Right? I would be scared to death, even if it was not bad weather, but imagine being in that situation. And let me read to you the selection that I used to incorporate into my lesson. So I want you to imagine yourself in that situation. And this is narrated from the point of view of a young man that's in the boat at that time. I'm going to try to do my best to read it as clearly as I can. So here it goes. So once you have been at sea for a couple of days, it smells like every fish you have ever eaten, every crab you have ever caught, every jellyfish that has ever bitten your leg. I'm so tired of the smell. I'm also tired of the way people on this boat are starting to stink. That pregnant girl said, Leon, I don't know how she takes it. She stares into space all the time and rubs her stomach. I've never seen her eat. Sometimes the other women offer her a piece of bread and she takes it, but she has no food of her own. I cannot help feeling like she will have this child as soon as she gets hungry now. She woke up screaming the other night. I thought she had a stomachache. Some water started coming into the boat, and that looks like as though if it gets any bigger, it will split the boat in two. The captain cleared us aside and used some tar to clog up the hole. Everyone started asking him if it was okay. Were they going to be okay? He said he hoped the Coast Guard would find us soon. You can't really go to sleep after that, so we all stared at the tar by the moonlight. We did this until dawn. I cannot help but wonder how long this tar will hold up. And that was the passage that I used to start my lesson at Norton. And it came from that book, Crick Crack. Born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Danticat was raised by her aunt and uncle after her father and later her mother migrated to New York. She began writing at 9 years old, and by the age of 12, she moved to Brooklyn, New York, that is, to join the parents in a heavily Haitian American neighborhood. As an immigrant teenager, disorientation in her new surroundings was a source of discomfort. And so her response was to turn to literature to find her voice. She was published twice in the New Youth Connections magazine, which was a citywide magazine written by teenagers in New York. And as a result of that, her interest in literature intensified. After graduating from Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn, Danticat entered Barnard College in New York City and received a BA in French literature. She received a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing from Brown University in 1993. She has also worked with filmmakers on projects on Haitian art and documentaries about Haiti. Her short stories have been translated into numerous other languages, including Japanese, French, Korean, German, Italian, Spanish, and Swedish. Danticat is a strong advocate for issues affecting Haitians abroad and at home. In 2009, she lent her voice and words to Poto Mitan, a Haitian women's pillars of the global economy, a documentary about the impact of globalization on 5 women from different generations. 3 themes consistently surface in her work: national identity, mother-daughter relationships, and diasporic politics. Danticat has received fiction awards from Essence and 17 magazines. She was named one of 20 people in their 20s who will make a difference in Harper's Bazaar, and featured in the New York Times Magazine as one of 30 under 30 people to watch, and was called one of the 15 gutsiest women of the year by Jane Magazine. There's a Haitian call and response tradition in storytelling that is known as Crick Crack. In that process, the teller of the story says crick, and the listeners who want to hear the story respond with crack. So I want to try that with us, right? So I'll stand in for her as the storyteller and say crick, and we will all respond in unison and say crack. You ready? Okay. Crick. Crack. Awesome. We only had to do it once. That's awesome. All right. So please, it's an incredible pleasure. Please join me in welcoming Ewdwidge Danticat to the stage for her keynote to the